Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host El Young, and we are here with the brilliant Kobe Joe of Tooth Gore. So, Kobe, could you introduce yourself and what you do within the band?
I'm Kobe Joe. I write the songs, I play guitar, and I sing on stage. I also I played all the bass. So I play the drums and bass tracks off my laptop. Um, so I've got a mix of studio recorded tracks, which I played bass on, and then I had my producer who Ross. He played the drums on the tracks as well. And then I also do some tracks that I programmed in Ableton. But I write all the songs myself, and I sing and play guitar over them.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so, Kobe, let's dive into some questions. Um, as a kid, what were you listening to?
As a kid, I was kind of raised on a lot of different stuff. But my favorite was Green Day. They were the first proper band that I saw live, and Billy Joe Armstrong was basically the reason why I got into playing music in the first place. Because I listened to his music and I saw him, like, his performance on stage, and I, as like a 13-year-old kid, I just said, like, that's what I want to do. And then I started learning guitar because of that, and playing covers, and yeah, that's just how I got into music in general.
Cool, cool. So, who actually got you listening to music? Was it your parents or sibling, or was it a journey of self discovery?
It was a lot of my parents. They played a lot of really cool, like, punk and a lot of rock music growing up, which was different from a lot of my friends and what they listened to. So they were always playing stuff like Green Day and Red Hot Chili Peppers and all sorts of really cool stuff like that. And then since then, I've just kind of I discovered my favorite band of all time, which is a Canadian punk band called Pup, um, just by chance in 2018, and it's kind of developed since then. Just listening to all the bands that come up when you put them on, like, shuffle and stuff. So that's how I discover a lot of music, just through, like, streaming and stuff.
Yeah, that's the best way. If you just like let the YouTube just to say right play, just press play and just like see what comes up.
Yeah,
And it's,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes you might find pure gems. Sometimes you might think, "What is that? I'm not listening to that."
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so um, you mentioned Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day being a major influence on you saying, "I want to do this I want to do this." Was there any other influences that you wanted to say, right? I like this guy, or I like this band. I want to be. Who was your main other influences?
My main influences on my music, especially now, are a band called The Frights, who are like a American surf punk band, um, who do, like, a cool mix of sort of the 50s really reverb heavy, like, doo wop music, and then merge it with, like, more modern melodic punk music. And there's another band called Fiddler, who are also, like, quite surf punky. And I discovered them actually on the soundtrack of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the, like, newer remake one that I played, like, a lot of when it came out. Um, and as I already mentioned, Pup are one of my favorite bands, and they're another big reason how I got into, like, songwriting in the first place. Because when I was just learning guitars, I was purely learning other people's songs and playing covers. But when I heard, like, Pup for the first time, and because they're all quite emotional songs, and it's like the singer really, like, pours his heart out into these lyrics, and it was the first time I'd heard anything quite like that, and it really sort of changed how I viewed music, um, and how it could be like a real art form for expressing emotions as well as just like sounding good.
Cool, cool, cool. So, um, what have you been up to, especially over the before I ask that question, um, before I ask that question, I was jumping the gun a little bit there. Were you in any bands before you started Tooth Gore?
I played guitar actually in one band that was just sort of formed with my friends in like secondary school. We were called Yellow Nose Devils, but I was not like super involved in any of the songwriting for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I just sort of showed up and they told me what to play, but it was still really fun. It's a really fun thing playing in bands, especially when you're all on the same wavelength and like your friends as well. It's really fun.
yeah, cool, cool. So, um, what have you been up to, especially in the last 12 months?
So I've just recorded my second full length album, which is called For Losers by Losers, which is actually releasing next month on the 6th of June. Um, I have basically spent the last year writing, recording, and just pouring my entire soul into that album. And I'm really happy with how it's come out. I think it's very different stylistically to my first album, but I think it's a sound that's a lot more true to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cool, cool. You've released a song called Firebird about a month ago, I believe. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah. That was one of the first songs we actually fully finished. Because I recorded the whole album across like a 4 week period of going into the studio like 3 or 4 times a week, and I think that was one of the first ones that we managed to finish all the way through. Um, and I actually wrote it about a video game, which is quite
Yeah,
funny to tell people that because they don't normally get that just from listening to it. But I wrote it. One my favorite game of all time is a sci-fi exploration game called Outer Wilds, and it basically explores like the idea of a time loop and is really kind of existential and nihilistic, but in a really beautiful way. And I was just really inspired by the vibe of that game and how it handled such big topics in like a really fun and lighthearted way. And that was kind of my idea going into the song, is to just like take all these big ideas and put it in a way that can still be really catchy and make a good song.
cool,
And I think people are liking it. It's doing well on Spotify and stuff, and it's one of my favorites to play live. It's just got like a really good energy to it, and it's nice.
cool, cool, cool. Now, is this like sort of like the lead single off it, or is there going to be a couple more songs off the album?
We have one more single that I've just finished recording a music video for that is going to go out on the same day of release. And it comes out a week before the album. And the song is called I Hate My Collarbones. It's sort of like the last push before the album release to like really get people hyped and invested. Um, so yeah, that should be good.
Cool, cool, cool. So we've got a couple of questions from the chat here. We've got Lisaboo, my head moderator, who is over in Canada. She asks, "What is your process for writing your songs?"
That's a good question. It tends to vary depending from song to song because sometimes I have an idea of what I want a song to be about, and in that case, I spend like a long time trying to find the right words and trying to find the right music. I spend a lot of time just playing guitar parts and trying to get the right sound. But sometimes for some of the songs, which is a really weird process, is that like sometimes I'll just be playing and they'll seem to pour out of me. And so it's a really random thing that sometimes some of them just kind of come to me, and some of them I have to work harder on. And it just depends on, I guess, how I'm feeling, because a lot of the songs I write are about how I'm feeling and kind of my emotional struggles and all that. So yeah, it really varies depending on I just like my mood. And
Yeah, yeah. So it would. I know each song is sort of like different as you approach it. Do you sort of like come up with a riff, or come up with like some sort of like lyric, or do you come up with a bit of chorus first, or is it just like completely like different?
I guess it's usually like a little guitar riff that it starts out as, um, and it usually when I'm trying to write a song and I've got a specific mood that I want to create for it, I'll usually like compile a list of different songs by other people that I think sort of capture the same ideas and the same tone, and then I'll just listen to them on repeat, and kind of see what each of the different people does to create that tone, and then I kind of think what I can do to do differently and add on to that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, yeah. So, uh, going. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that, Lisa. Um, we got a question from Aussie Ann 2025. Um, any plans for gigs or tours, and if so, where?
So I have already started recently my first ever mini tour. It's kind of in two halves. So I did Hull, Leeds, and Sowerby Bridge at the start of May, and I'm going to Newcastle on the 30th of May and Carlisle on the 31st, as like the second leg of this tour, which should be really fun shows. Then I'm going back down to my hometown of Newquay, because I'm playing an album release party on the 6th of June to like coincide with the album release. And then after that, on the 14th of June, I'm going up to Glasgow, which is quite a trip, but it's going to be a really fun show. I've been to Glasgow once before, and it's really great there. Like really, really good scene. I'm really excited for that.
Cool, cool. Whereabouts in which Newcastle? Is it Newcastle under Lyme or Newcastle upon Tyne that you're going to?
I'm not actually sure. I know the venue is called the Grove, but I've never been to Newcastle before.
Yeah, yeah, the Grove. I think I think that's a new one on me because I know that in Newcastle upon Tyne, there's always sort of like opening new venues up
Right,
there.
right,
Because I'm not too far away from Newcastle. I'm about 10 miles away.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now going on to like sort of like expanding on Ocean's question there. If you had the financial backing, all the stars aligned, everything sort of like in place, would you get over to say Europe or down to Australia or over to Canada?
Oh yeah, I would absolutely love to. I mean, that is the dream, to just be able to tour everywhere and play as many shows as I can to as many people as I can. And that is absolutely the dream and something we're hoping to be able to do. Um, and I think that would be just amazing
Yeah,
to obviously go to all these new places and be able to share my music with people.
yeah, yeah, cool. So, right, I've got Lisaboo normally asks this questions. Thank you for that, Ozzy, for that question. So, my Lisaboo normally asks this question: Um, what is your favorite venue to play at?
Ooh, that is a good question. Um, I think my favorite venue that I've played at so far was a bar called the Blind Pig in Sowerby Bridge. And I think that was the best show I've ever done. I mean, the crowd was really great. It was a really cool bar, and they had like the stage in an upstairs area, and everyone, all the staff were like super friendly, and it was really great. That being said, if I could pick any like dream venue to be able to play at like in the future, I think my favorite would be like Electric Ballroom in Camden.
Yeah,
Um, that is one that I would, that's like a goal. I would love to play there. I've seen a bunch of my favorite bands there, and it's just an incredible venue.
cool, cool. Yeah, good venue down there. Manchester London's got quite a good few venues.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, some iconic ones as well, like Hammersmith and other places.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
would you play the Hammersmith?
Um, yeah, I mean, I would play anywhere that would have me. I'm kind of at that stage where I just want to play like as many gigs as possible, and just I play anywhere that'll have me.
Yeah, cool. Cool. So, going on to the questions. Is there any plans on releasing merchandise for the like for the singles or for the album, like such as T-shirts and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, we've actually just finished doing our like first printing of t-shirts. And we've got two colors, and it'll all be up on like Bandcamp soon. And we've been selling them at live shows. So I'll do a post on like Instagram and everything when it's up on the Bandcamp. But yeah, we've got t-shirts, and we've had like a limited run of CDs created as well, which are really cool. That's a quite a big thing for me, because obviously I'm just quite new as a musician and as an artist. So it was really cool seeing my work as like a physical product.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I was going to ask, is there going to be sort of like physical media such as like CDs and like tapes and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we've already got like I think we ordered like a printing of 100 CDs, and we do want to do other physical media as well, like records and tapes. It's
Yeah,
just finding like the balance between, because a lot of the people we talk to as well listen to music on streaming. So we wanted to make sure that there would be like a demand for that physical media before ordering all this these records and stuff, and then not being able to sell them. So we just wanted to
yeah,
make sure that was viable first.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was going to ask about the final records. Would you sort of like, obviously it's all due down, well, it's all down to cost really. Is it going to be cost effective to
Yeah.
actually? Yeah, yeah. So, going on to right, you mentioned that you're doing a sort of like mini tour at the end of this month and into the next month. Is there going to be sort of like going to be like more local gigs or more UK tours later in the year?
I'm uh talking to some different like bookers, and hoping to be able to do more tours. um but yeah, I'm at the minute I'm just sort of contacting different venues to be able to play. So I'm just gonna try and do as many as possible.
Cool, cool. So, are you writing any sort of like new material for like an upcoming EP or another album?
Um, I'm not sure what it's gonna become yet, but I have recently just started writing some new material. Um, I think there's always like a worry when I make something, like obviously having just made a new album, that um that's I have a worry that I've only got a limited amount of songs in me. Every time I make a new thing, I'm worried. So getting back into writing after making that album was like quite a process in itself. But I've just found in the last couple of weeks that the inspiration is sort of coming back, and I've written a couple of new songs. So I'm excited to see where that'll go.
Cool, cool. We got a question from Lisaboo. She asks, "Are there any instruments that you play besides your main one?"
Um, I'm gonna say kind of. So I do play the guitar, and I did play the bass on all the songs on the album, um, but it's not like super complicated bass stuff. I am primarily a rhythm guitarist. I do also play like the bare minimum of keyboard as well. Um, so among all the three things, I've got the ability, like the skills to make the songs. And I obviously have Ross who plays the drums for them. So I've got all the skills in there somewhere. But yeah, definitely primarily a guitarist.
Cool, cool, cool. Thank you for that, Lisa. So, um, where can people find you on social media?
I mostly use Instagram mainly. So it's just at Tooth Gore Band. But I do also have TikTok and Facebook. And if the people want to listen to my music, I'm on all major streaming platforms, so Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music, and it's just under the name Tooth Gore. So you'll be able to find my first album and the few singles that we've got from the new album.
Cool, cool. We've got a question from Martin Hamshaw. Uh, don't you program the drums?
Yeah, so I do for uh sort of any new songs I write, and if I do like a cover song. And I did program the drums beforehand for the album. So the way it worked was that I wrote all the songs on my drum machine and on my laptop. I programmed all the drums and bass, and then took that to the studio. And we basically all worked together on turning what I'd made into the songs that are going to be released. And it was a really cool sort of group effort with all the producers there. I think they all really understood the vision and what I was trying to do, and I think the result is really great. I'm really proud of how it's come out. But yeah, I do also program drums when writing songs.
Cool, cool. Thank you for that, Martin. Um, uh, Ozzy has said, "Nice. I can play a little piano, but only simple, and it's been a long time since I have when I was a kid. So yeah,
Yeah, again, it's like the bare minimum. I'm not very good. Uh, I can't get my fingers to do all the like right shapes for it. I think I probably could with a lot of practice, but yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think that's for like when you are sort of like being a musician is to practice on
yeah,
a regular basis.
yeah.
So yeah. So um, guys in the chat, if you've got any more questions, please ask away. Going to be starting to wrap things up in about 5-10 minutes or so. Kobe, have you got any advice for people who basically want to become a musician, whether it be like people just like playing for what family and friends, or somebody who wants to sort of like go down the like professional route, like going out to play gigs and like writing and recording their own music.
I think the best advice is just to not stop and not give up, because it is really hard at the start, and most musicians will tell you this, but there's like a lot of people who will see what you're doing and try to tear you down. And there's a lot of people who will tell you that you can't do it. And the best thing is just to keep doing it, and not listen to them, and just try have fun with it. I think is the main thing. I think that's what kept me going at it, even when people said that I couldn't or said that I was bad at it. It's just that fundamentally I was having fun doing it, and that meant I wanted to do it all the time, which meant that I got, I hope, good at it. And I think that is just the most important thing, just to keep it fun and keep the enjoyment of it. Otherwise, what are you doing it for?
Yeah, true, true. That's the thing. If you sort of like keep having fun in sort of like creating music, or just like playing, having fun playing whatever instrument you wanting to play, I think that goes a long, long, long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and sort of like don't listen to the naysayers as well.
Yeah, because I mean, there are always going to be people, um, either what they're jealous, or they just enjoy tearing people down. There are always going to be people against you, and you just got to not listen to it.
Yeah, 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 or just basically look at it and say, yeah, right, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So, Kobe, we're going to start wrapping things up. So, any final words before we go?
Um, if you like what I'm about and like my music, follow me on Instagram and Spotify and all that. And just thank you for having me. It's been really cool. And yeah, have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, cool, cool. Lisaboo has just said, you have a bright future ahead of. God, I can't speak today. You have a bright future ahead of you, Kobe.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out Tooth Gore and Kobe, I've put all the links down in the description. So please, please go check them out. I've been listening to some of his music over on YouTube, and he's damn good. So go check him out. Go check him out. So, oh, and Ozzy says, thanks so much. Awesome interview.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, Kobe, and thank you for coming on. It's been a complete pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really, really great.
So, yeah. So, guys, like I said before we go check out Tooth Gore. Absolutely brilliant. Well worth it. Well worth the listen. You won't be disappointed. So, until next time, guys, we'll catch you all later.